talking this evening for our Key Ingredients documentary. And can you tell me what your name is, sir?
Dudley Beltz.
Okay, and just tell us where you were born and who your parents and siblings were, and then you can go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you remember about the food business in Marshall.
Well, I was born in Lower Wabash, 1920, and I'm a twin, but my twin brother died at birth, and then I had a brother 4 years younger than me, Dwightville, and that was all the family I had.
Tell us some of the things you remember about the food history of Marshall.
Well, when I first started coming to Marshall was when I was going to high school, and occasionally I would come downtown and eat dinner. Money was pretty scarce then, but you could get at the Little Owl Cafe, which is where business is at now, you could get a plate lunch for $1, and a dinner was $35. And the difference was you got a piece of pie with the dinner. Otherwise, it was the same thing. And they called it the Owl Cafe, and Tom Crump run it. And in later years, Tom got older, his son-in-law, Al Edwards, took it over and run it. And occasionally, I went down to the Keystone, to where the fire station is now. And it was main stop for truckers. Well, they went to all three restaurants, Tom's, and Al Cafe, and Keystone. At that time, Route 40 went right through town here, and this being about halfway between St. Louis and Indianapolis, the truck drivers would stop, eat something, get a drink. And that's what they stayed open all night, all three of them restaurants. There's other restaurants in town. If you want to know about food, as you come up there from the two restaurants I'm at, Ridpath had a grocery in there just this side of City Hall, a grocery store. And then you come on up and come across the street and here where the Chinese place is at, that was Moy's Grocery. And then just a few doors this way we had what we called Marshall Bakery. And they baked their own bread and delivered it around the people here in town. And they even had a truck that run out into the country stores at that time. And they sold donuts. You could go in and buy them for the dozen and buy bread and stuff. And the next eating place I would say would be Nell Bosinger had a restaurant on this side of the street in this block. And I don't remember the name she called it, but she had a restaurant there for quite a while. And then the next thing you'd come to in the food would be Kroger's store. You had Oakley's on the corner, you had the Laney Bank between them, and then Kroger's store. And Oakley's, and then around to the north was Spots Meat Market. And they done their own butchering. They had a place in the southeast part of town, down to where the disposal plant is now. And they done their own butchering down there. They bought the animals and butchered and brought them up here. And they even delivered meat around town. They had a man that drove a no-top buggy, and he'd deliver meat around town. You'd call in and tell him what you wanted, and he'd deliver it to them. Going on west there, well, the drugstore wouldn't be considered that. They just had ice cream and stuff. But now Murphy down there, the building's gone now where Cooper's Laundry is at. That out driveway between it, the building went halfway back, and Murphy had an ice cream parlor there, but he also sold sandwiches. And then on down where the 66 Phillips is now, there was a gas station in there where it's at, but out in front of it, there's a small building, real small. And Irene Walker run it, and she sold hamburgers and pies, stuff like that in it. That pretty well takes care of the north side. And you say you always had Tom's.
Mm-hmm.
Leitenbergers had a grocery store in there pretty close to where the barber shop is now, out in there. That was a big grocery store. But we also had a lot of small grocery stores all over town. You've probably heard about them. One down at the south end, one up across from the VSW, and then out where the medicine shop is, that was the grocery store. And going east here, you had Blizzard grocery store, and then where beauty shop's at, that was Foreman run in. Bigger grocery store. I expect there was more, but I can't remember them all now. But the one down there where the medicine shop is at one time, before that was a grocery store, my wife said her grandma had a little restaurant in there, and run a restaurant in there. So that's way before my time. Anything else that's,
let's see. What do you think the difference is between the way it used to be with all the grocery stores and the times that you're telling about, the grocery stores and the restaurants, and the way it is now? What do you think the difference is?
Well, at that time, there was what they call pop and mom grocery stores, and that community right around the store traded there pretty much so. But occasionally they'd come up to Oakley's or Kroger's up here, and Oakley and Kroger's is a little bit cheaper than them because they can buy it cheaper. That's what put the little groceries out. The delivery people didn't want to stop. Now, another thing that might be interesting is how the restaurants got their meat. Virgil Eller lived at the state line, right at the state line, and he had a restaurant there on the Indiana side, and he had a truck, and he went to home packing every morning. He had it insulated, and pick up meat and deliver it around to the restaurants and places here in town. And it was a one-man deal. He took orders, collected, and delivered. When he delivered it, he collected for it. He also took the order for the next week. And he had enough routes that he went just once a week to the different routes. And whatever he did, he put a little extra on. Whatever he did sell, he'd take it back home packing and put it back there. He had it insulated, and he put ice in the truck to keep it cool.
And who was that?
Virgil Aller. His wife also had a restaurant right there, but she had it on the Indiana side. That's where I learned to drink coffee.
Oh, yeah?
My folks never drank coffee. But I bought me a truck when I was 19, was doing trucking, and didn't have no heater. I'd get cold when I'd stop there, drink a cup of coffee, get warmed up.
Did you have a favorite place to go and eat or visit?
I used all three of them down there pretty much. Mainly, I went to the Keystone at that time because they had a lot out north there that you could park. Another interesting thing about the Keystone, when Jack Reagan had it, his mother-in-law died, and he wanted to close the restaurant for the funeral. But he couldn't lock it up. There was no way to lock it up. See, it was open 24 hours, 24/7. And he could lock the front door, keep people come in, but he couldn't lock the back end of it. And he had to hire a woman to stay there at the restaurant while they went to the funeral.
Well, what do you think the difference was in the different restaurants?
Oh, it wasn't a lot of difference in the food as I remember. It's just different waitresses. I mean, you knew some of them and you liked them and you just went there. because it was handy, and down at, didn't have too big, the Al Cafe didn't have that near long bar that they've got now. It only about half of that, and it went plumb to the door, and only about halfway back, and they built onto it since. The other part was the kitchen. And then they had what you call these ice cream chairs and tables sitting around to eat.
Now, did you ever go to the candy kitchen?
I did some, but not a lot. See, the candy kitchen was run by ready makers. They also had another place just across the alley there, what they call Little Ready Makers. And on band concert night, it's there where Bill Nealon lives now. On band concert night, you go over there and get your ice cream. Get a double dip cone for a nickel. And the old ready maker also had a bottling works in the back there, and they bought a double cola. You probably heard about that.
Can you think of anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, you was talking about but you already had it about the cheese plant out there at the railroad. My uncle used to haul milk into there. Well, I did some when I was trucking. Some of the truckers, their trucker breaks down, they just had one truck.
Let's take a time out. All right. Can you turn here for Alzheimer's?
Yeah.
Just that last story you were telling. Just go ahead.
Oh, I was talking about the cheese plant.
Yeah.
What did they call that? They called it cheese plant, but it had another name. But they had a lot of milk routes over the country, and they'd bring milk in there to it. And when the truck would break down, I had an extra truck, and sometime I'd run the route for them a day or two till they got the truck repaired. And I also run a few of them over to Terre Haute, but very few, most of them here in Marshall.
Well, thank you very much for your interview, and we look forward to having this on as part of our oral history and our key ingredients project. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Let's see if I can push the right button this time. All right, my name is Nancy Claypool, and I'm talking this evening with Mr. Darrell Harlow. It's July 21st, 2005, and we're at Marshall Public Library. Okay, now can you just tell us a little bit about your business and where it was located and some of the basics, and then tell us whatever else you'd like to.
This is a franchise business that we opened in the 50s at 1004 South 6th Street in Marshall, Illinois. And I saw one in Robinson under construction, and it caught my eye, so I immediately went to Champaign and investigated, and we bought a franchise. And it was a modular frame building we brought in there, and put it up one day. And it was a challenge, but we enjoyed it.
And the name of it was?
Dog and Sons.
Okay.
Drive-in restaurant.
Tell us about some of the people that worked for you and some of the food that you served, things like that.
Well, food was root beer and coney dogs was our specialty, and with a very limited menu. And it's a seasonal business. We were open about 6 months each summer. And of course we had new employees each year, which was no problem at all because we had a wonderful group of people. Some families had as many as 3 or 4 children in their families that worked for us during a span of years. And we still have people living in Marshall that were car ops for us.
Can you name some of them?
Sue Boyer, Charlotte Shield, Darrell Smith, Jeannie Strong. Oh gosh, I can think of some more.
Diane Reardon?
Yes, yes, yes. Diane and David fell in love with Dog and Sons. David was an employee also. And, Ronnie Washburn and Beverly, they were both employees. Ronnie was on the grill, and Beverly was a car hop. See, I could have written down a lot of names, but there's still quite a few of us in this area that we're very proud of, still friends.
What are some of the fun things that you remember that happened there?
Oh my. Well, I can't think of anything special in the fun era. We enjoyed the business. We had it for 20-some years. And it was just such a pleasure to work with all the people we had. And Rogine she was actually the manager, and I was on the road selling meat. But Rogine she was the hub of the business.
Now selling the meat, tell us
I
about
worked
that.
for Mickelberry Meat Company for 16 years, and Rogine managed the business, Harlem Market and Dog and Sons.
How much did you pay your car hops?
I think it's 25 cents an hour, and give a discount on their food. I think it's what started. Of course, they got chips. That was a reasonable salary back then.